PMAC movies back. Me and Charmy are actually getting ready to go somewhere, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And she's getting ready. But I wanted to make a video here. We got Layla over here. Let's see if we can get her in. She's gonna come with us. How are you doing, girl? So I made a video yesterday. Uploaded, what was yesterday? The 27th? Yeah, so uploaded on December 27th, titled YouTube Movie Community Discussion. So it goes, I didn't know exactly what to name it. It goes a little bit beyond that as far as talking about how to collect and things like that. So I was just kind of sitting around waiting for her to get ready. I got some water here, some peanut butter fudge from Christmas, and I figured I'd just make a casual hang out with PMAC kind of video where we take a look at some of the more so critical comments. So at this time, the video is at 688 views, 60 thumbs up, but definitely some criticisms in the video, which is totally fine. I would rather people criticize than not leave a comment at all. Delicious. But I think, some of the criticism is from people who maybe have never watched the videos, my videos, don't really know me, things like that. We got quite a bit of action, quite a bit of comments. So, I brought up that YouTube doesn't recommend my videos, but it seems like they're recommending this one for some reason. So maybe these drama type videos are the way to get views, apparently, because that's what YouTube's pushing. Although I don't think it's necessarily creating drama per se, but it definitely could. It's obviously generating discussion. So Donnell left a lot of feedback here. Some people said it's sensible and things like that. At least one person used the word common sense, sensible. I see there. Gail Scheuer said, hey, it's nobody's business how much you spend. I'm 60, retired, and I buy and sell physical media and collect horror movies. I don't care about anyone's opinion. I think that's a very common thing, is that it's nobody's business how much you spend. However, I think you could generate some pushback to that too. I mean, when people are making videos showing off what they buy, they're kind of making it somebody's business to a certain degree. Some people even talk about how much they pay for things, like I do, because I'm very open as far as that. And I think if somebody's going to praise a purchase, they should know how much the purchase is. Because say I bought a movie for $10 and I get, positive feedback, oh, that's a great deal. Somebody else buys the movie and doesn't say how much it was, but they paid $100 for it and they're getting praise for the purchase. Well, you're praising something where somebody really overspent on that item. If it's readily available for, way cheaper than the $100. And these are just kind of off the cuff things I'm coming up with. I'm not like writing anything down. I'm just kind of talking. So I'm not going to say everything perfectly. Some of these comments, it's like they want you to, say everything perfectly. And they're really going to focus on the speaker more than the actual message of the speaker and really try to break down the speaker. I'm not saying that Gail, I think Gail's somebody who actually watches my videos. And it's fine to have those opinions. I in general find it to be interesting how people spend money and psychological aspects and things like that. That's kind of what I do for a living as far as being a counselor. Like, you do get in people's business doing my job. So it's like what I do every day. So that's it. Some people could see it as a bad thing. Some people see it as a good thing. Some people want that constructive feedback. Surreal Cinema had some good feedback, which was positive. Tales from the Shelf said it was a really well done assessment. I actually watched some videos of Tales from the Shelf. He has some good videos. Does quite a good job in his videos, I thought, from what I watched so far. And I subscribed, so thanks for that comment. Tales from the Shelf. Kind of a cool channel name too. I like that. 994 PT4 says addictions are great. Give me a reason to live. Now that's funny and true in a way, because like I said yesterday, we have all these stressors and we need things that we enjoy. I think back in the day it would have been more social focused, more going out and doing things with people and socializing. But now it's like we're much more so staying at home away from people for a good degree. Oops, I missed my mouth. So I think it's a humorous comment, and it's true in a way. Like, that's why people's addictions, I don't want to step on that and get the crap all over the floor. People's addictions have gotten really serious because it is a kind of a reason for people to live. But that's why a lot of it's not about totally getting rid of things that you enjoy, things that you do compulsively, but trying to manage it, trying to balance it out, making sure that it's not ruining somebody's life. Like if we take a look at addiction, let's say somebody could drink several days a week and not have any issues from it, not drinking to the point of getting drunk and it being destructive, whereas somebody else could be drinking several times a week, getting drunk, it could be causing problems in their relationships, problems with work. And it's not that, somebody could be drinking, 2 drinks versus 5 drinks could be a very big difference depending on the person's tolerance, but it's about balancing things out. Somebody could, like I'm talking about, drink alcohol several days a week and have it well under control and be okay with it. Whereas somebody else drinks, maybe they only drink 1 day a week, but it's causing them problems because they're not doing it in a smart manner. But, there's a lot of little discussions we could have amongst this. So that same person said, unfortunately, we've gotten to a point in society where just having a different view is considered toxic. People are incredibly fragile these days. A lot of people are incredibly fragile. And that's part of my concern with this movie community thing. I think these people do have addictions. That's their main coping skill. So then when anybody gives even constructive criticism, they have a fit and say, this person's, people are being mean to me. They're being negative. And one individual in particular, he's quit making videos because, and I know from my experience with him, I barely say anything, very, very minimal. And he gets so upset about it, angry about it. So it's not necessarily what's said, it's the reaction to it. Somebody's lack of coping skills. And usually when people, the more this, and doing what I do for a living, the more severe somebody's addiction is, the more trouble they have with coping. So that's what's happening here, I think, because this person just collects everything, collects so many different things, because that's the only coping skill he has. So if anybody criticizes that, I think there's an instant defense there too, sort of thing. Negative Outlook says we miss PMAP Coffee Talk. There's a few of you that do. Negative Outlook had some good comments. Robert Giancinta, I don't know how to pronounce that. So one of his things, and Robert's a viewer of PMAC, and I think he even maybe offered a little criticism here, but that's fine. I get what you're saying, but like, should a grocery store not sell junk food because overweight people can't help themselves? I think people with the addictions need to take a more active effort to stay away from things that might trigger them to act. On Instagram, you can block out certain words like Blu-ray, so you won't see. Very true. And there's two sides to this. There's the people pulling people in to consume, the companies and the people that they're basically employing in a way. And then on the other side of it is the people buying the product, possibly being taken advantage of. So there's kind of like two sets of talks. On the one side, yeah, it's not necessarily bad to, you're getting free movies. And I said that, it's not necessarily bad. But realize what you're doing. Realize that you are probably pulling people in to buy things that shouldn't be. Once you, do what you want to do, but just realize that that's probably what's going on here. And then on the other side of it is the purchaser, and they have to be, aware of what's going on. So there's two sides to this thing. Let's see. Now there's a guy, CG33. This is a big video complaining about the actions of others. Stupid stuff too, like their collecting habits. Who cares? I couldn't imagine caring what other people do at all, much less to the extent about things so inconsequential. I guess it's the extent that I care. I cared enough to make a video, but it's not like in my day-to-day life I'm sitting around thinking about this stuff. I just find it to be interesting. So just because I find it interesting and I make a video about it, because it does this kind of the drama in the movie community or whatever, and the addiction aspect and the spending money aspect, those are all things that interest me. Do I obsess over them? Absolutely not. So, there's different levels of caring, and this isn't a level of caring where it's like bothering me. So just because I make a video about it, it's not eliciting a strong emotional reaction. And then a few other people did comment to that. Let's see. We had Gen X in the Wild. Sean had some positive words. And I don't, unless somebody went really overboard with a comment, I also don't delete comments, which is another thing that these very weak people do, is delete comments that are a little bit critical. And I've had people, we won't get into that. I'm just looking, some people left some good feedback. I do appreciate that. I'm just trying to find the ones that are of interest. Jad7306 looks like you're running out of room. I mean, yeah, when you buy as many movies as I do, you can, but I do have a pretty big house too. So usually these guys will say you don't need this, but some people are collecting because this stuff is fun. You never know how much they make. No one is twisting your arm to buy, and the guys usually say you don't need this. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Let's see. And then this guy says, a lot of what you're saying is projection because you don't know their income. Everything you're saying is profiling. I mean, and I pointed that out if you watch the whole video. Like, yeah, we don't know people's situation. But, some people do say what they do for a living and stuff. And it's not like a job that would make very much money. So, I mean, sometimes they're like flat out telling you. I guess you don't know as far as like if they're inheriting things and stuff like that. But at the same time, I mean, with the amount that some people buy, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. But sometimes we do have to just, I'm not talking about like particular people here. So it's all, we're kind of lumping a bunch of people in. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely situations where some people are in a much better spot to be able to blow a lot of money versus others. That's pretty obvious. Now, this Evan says, Evan W7538, you're kind of contradicting yourself a bit here. You say that people should look out for themselves, but you also seem to think that other channels shouldn't hype up a cool release because they may influence some idiot with zero self-control to buy it when they can't afford it. I'm saying that these people should be aware of what they're doing. Have the awareness of it. Don't fool yourself. You are leading people who can't afford it to buy things and things. But that I think it's fairly obvious. But I think these reviewers kind of delude themselves in a way too. And then he says, "Who cares? We don't structure our lives around and cater to the dumbest people that may or may not be listening." I guess if it's just a few people, that's very true. However, I think it may very well be more than that. I think there's a lot of people in the movie community that are easily susceptible to what's going on here. FCLEF Jeff 4041. I couldn't even sit through half of this video, but it's amusing that you chose to sit in front of your giant wall of movies to ramble about this. Now, this Jeff guy has... First of all, there's probably parts of the video where he missed that I talk about my collecting. Just because my collecting's out of control doesn't mean that... maybe out of control even. I mean, I have a certain way of doing it. But it doesn't mean that... my points aren't valid just because I have a lot of movies. Then he says, it's super cliche and beaten to death in the YouTube movie community. And it's also a perfect illustration of the obnoxious excess you're yammering about. Whether intentionally or not, people spend way too much time flaunting their collections and complaining about their goofy-ass first world problems. I mean, this obviously isn't... Is it a first world problem? I mean... Yeah, but this is the issue I'm addressing in the video. This is equally true in the vinyl community and probably every other community of collectors. People's desperation for attention and validation can manifest itself in really obvious, predictable ways. I guess what I'm saying is that the part of your message is getting lost in the presentation for me, and that literally any other backdrop might have been a better choice. Well, you don't really know anything about how I collect or anything like that, or me saying myself that I have, these, that I have to get my collection under control and things like that. So I'm not like, I criticize myself too. I guess I thought there was a few more that were critical. This Defunct Games left a very long message. So message that it's hard to pick through it and respond to it. So he says that my video was recommended to him, so my talk about my videos not being recommended isn't true. So I think I found a video that's interesting on the side of this video, but it seems like this type of video does get pushed by YouTube for some reason, but like most of my videos don't, like my hauls and stuff like that. Your video clearly comes from a very frustrated perspective. Not really. It's more of an interested perspective. I'm not really frustrated much at all. I guess you could say frustrated, like a very frustrated perspective. Like if I'm frustrated, it's not very frustrated. There's red flags through your rant that suggest that you might be bringing some of this on yourself. Your tone is calm but weirdly passive-aggressive. The clearer it becomes, you are making the situation worse with you. What situation am I making worse? And then he talks about how I said that YouTuber blocked me. Now, this is a YouTuber who, it's not like, somebody could block you because you're being obsessed or whatever. Somebody could block you for a lot of different reasons. They could block you because they're very thin-skinned, which is what, I think the evidence strongly suggests here. So he kind of focuses on that person doing the blocking, and then, I don't know, I guess I'd have to go through and read through this more. There's a point where you start equating the movie community with muggers and aggressive attack dogs, and you wonder why they block you. You come across as being very bitter and judgmental, and for no reason. None of this affects you. When people say it doesn't affect you, I mean, these things, I'm not getting like bent out of shape about this stuff. Like, I find it interesting more so than anything else. So no, I'm not getting real frustrated or bitter. So I'm not sure where this person is getting that from. And then he says, this is a bad look, and I suspect it contributes to your problem growing your channel. I mean, maybe. But I don't know. I think, this is a person who's probably never watched any of my videos before, watched this one, and came up with all that. So I don't know. I guess I'd have to make a whole video like responding to that one comment because it's quite long and things like that. So again, looking for your guys' thoughts on this, your guys' feedbacks. Feedback, not feedbacks. But I do appreciate everybody who left a comment, whether I didn't find any of these like overly aggressive. Like, none of these comments were overly aggressive. I didn't delete any comment. So if your comment didn't show up, it wasn't because of me. I didn't mess with anything. So I do appreciate all the thumbs up, the comments. And hope you guys are having a good holiday. We'll see you next time, PMAC Movies, and leave me some more feedback on this one.